From Reminder Media, this is Stay Paid, a sales and marketing podcast on a mission to help you close more deals and retain more business. Hosted by the VP of Marketing, Josh Stake, and Reminder Media's president, Luke Acree. So get ready to hear the golden nuggets that will allow you to live a life of freedom tomorrow, but only if you take action today.
Welcome to another Silver Dollar episode of Stay Paid, the best sales and marketing tips of your week in 15 minutes or less. Luke, we're going to be a little behind the scenes. This is the second time we've recorded this episode.
Yeah, it is. We recorded it, and this is the journey of podcast.
So we've got to make it even better than the first time.
The truth is, I don't even remember what we
talked about?
That's kind of how my brain works.
Maybe we'll do like a behind the scenes, like when we hit a certain milestone, we can release unreleased footage
of what it
looks like.
You know you're getting it raw from the heart with me because I can't even remember what I said.
Well, that's right. We're going to talk about Instagram. So this is something that we're super excited about. We've really been focused on as a company. And one of the reasons why this came up as a topic idea was because you just hit a milestone, over 20,000 followers on
and
Instagram.
It's been so
at Luke
painful.
Acree.
We've tried so many different things.
Yeah.
It's been crazy.
Yeah. Well, there's a few different milestones in the world of Instagram. One of those, like that 10,000 follower mark. That's where you get to swipe up on your features. And then now our next goal is like to get you blue checked.
Yeah, blue check mark, which is hard. I've applied so many times and they turn me down every time. And then we thought, just give you guys a window into like our even journey. Like we thought, okay, in order to get the blue check mark, Instagram, Facebook, they have to see you as a real person, like a celebrity type person or whatever. And so we got a bunch of PR done, right? Because we're a marketing firm.
Articles,
so I'm like, Forbes, Yahoo Finance, all these different Entrepreneur Magazine, and thinking that if we got featured in all these magazines, then they would give us the blue check mark, and they still haven't given it to us.
The other thing that helps you get a blue check mark is if you have impostor accounts. So if all of our listeners right now go and create a fake Luke Acree account and pretend to be you.
Okay, maybe we shouldn't suggest that. But that is, but even
do you
growing
think Instagram's
followers,
listening?
Yeah, Instagram's probably listening. Even like growing followers is so difficult, and trying to get engagement is so difficult.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what do you actually do to grow followers? One of the things that we've done, which is actually outside of Instagram, that I think is super important to point out to people, one of the best things for growing my following has been our webinars.
Yep.
So we do webinars for people. So if you have the chance to do a seminar or a webinar or something like that, get people to follow you. Even the people you meet on your listing presentations or wherever you're at in your life.
It's the new business card.
Get them to follow you. Because like I did a geographic farming webinar, picked up a couple hundred followers just from that. Then also email campaigns. So we've emailed all of our client database and prospects and asked them to follow me. And we've picked up hundreds, if not thousands from that.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast from, I think it's Marketing School. So Eric Sue, who's been on the podcast before, he's actually going to come back on. He was saying he's been using Clubhouse to really grow his Instagram following, because what happens on Clubhouse, if you're not aware of it, is audio only type of social media platform. I think you still have to get an invite.
Yeah, right now you're still getting it. I think I have two. So the first people to DM me and ask me for them, I think I'll give you them.
I have a few too. So if you comment on the YouTube video, what your email is, we can get you over some invites. First to comment, we'll get those invites. But what he's been doing, what happens is if you follow people on Clubhouse, when they talk in this room, you can create a room, and then whenever somebody's talking, it'll notify you, hey, Josh Stike is talking in this room.
Right.
Then from there, people are going to want to know who is this person? If someone's speaking in a room, they'll click on their profile. And then that's where he's been focusing on getting people to follow his Instagram. He said he's grown a couple hundred Instagram.
Well, it's a common
every
thing
time
they
he does
ask
that.
now. It's like all these Clubhouse rooms I'm in is, hey guys, do everybody a favor who's a speaker, the moderators, give back to them, go to their profile and follow.
I think he said he was invited on to 20 different podcasts also just by doing that as well.
That's crazy.
So it's just a great way to get your name out there. So again, these external ways to build your following on Instagram, it's not just using the right hashtags on Instagram so you can get seen more, although that is part of it, but really leveraging your other audiences and your other business content in terms of bringing people into your feed. But we're going to talk a little bit about what kind of content you should be posting, how you can get more people to see your posts on Instagram. And one of the things that we talked about whenever we recorded this the first time, because you brought it up in our pre-discussion about the podcast, is this idea of the amount of business people and realtors even that you see with like private profiles.
Yeah, I had a couple today. I had a freaking couple today. And I'm just like, why is your profile private? It drives me crazy. Now, people listening to this are like, I don't want to share my life. guys, in order to get business, people got to know, like, and trust you. And the only way they can know, like, and trust you is if they can get connected to you in a great way that gives the ability for your prospects and clients to get to know you on a personal level is to look at your Instagram, is to look at your Facebook profile. Like, as crazy as it sounds, I'm not saying you have to be too private in this or too open where you share super private stuff. But when you're sharing about your family, when you're sharing about the things like your faith, when you're sharing about what you're into, people get attracted to that.
Yeah.
And they want to do business with people like that. And it drives me nuts how many real estate agents, financial advisors, they have private profiles.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what are you doing?
The other thing that you can do with your profile then is turn it into a business page. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the benefits that you can get from turning it into a business page. But just from a pure content standpoint, if you're not taking advantage of stories, there are tons of great things you can be doing with stories. As a matter of fact, one of the tips that Ed Stulak, who we've had on the podcast, he teaches how to grow your Instagram.
He's a beast, yeah.
He says you've got to post at least 5 times every day to your story. So what can those posts look like? Well, you can promote your other content. So if you're posting your blogs, you can be promoting your blogs on your story. You should be promoting every time you have an Instagram post or you post an Instagram Reels or an IGTV. Make sure that you're putting that on your story as well. You could be doing some behind the scenes stuff. Your brother does a great job at this with his realty company. I think I said the other day, I want to go work for your brother because their office looks so fun because they always post if they have a listing or closing or something like that, some celebration.
They post their team meetings,
dancing
stuff like that. But I told him even he's not doing. I told him, hey man, you're slipping on your like personality stuff, like the Takeover Tuesdays, the behind the scenes of you guys out at dinner and stuff like that. I said that's really what's going to keep.
I agree with that. On his Acree brothers Instagram, you don't see enough of him. You don't see enough of
I told him that literally like 2 days ago or whatever. I said, you need to actually post even more. I think also a little tip I would give to people is you were mentioning, hey, on stories, also do your post. I've learned that the same people who see your post, your reel, aren't the same people that are going to see your stories.
100%.
And so if you can somehow get, every time you post, you also share it in your stories, it's going to be seen by different people. Another hack to get engagement is when you post, when you share on your stories, immediately go and engage with other people and their stories. Because what happens is when you engage, like let's say I post my story, then I go engage with yours, you're going to see it, right? In the messaging, we're going to get back and forth. Algorithmically, now my stories are going to show up for you. So I follow a ton of people. And so it's hard for me to see everybody's story. I see the people that I engage with the most. So what you want to do is you want to create engagement with your following.
Engage
so they
back.
see your story above all the other people that they're following constantly.
Yeah. So if you're following along, like on the top of your Instagram feed, you've got your stories there. People to the left, right?
Yeah.
Are the people that you're probably going to see, especially if you're following a ton of people. You're not going to be able to make it all the way over to see everybody's story that day. So what Luke's saying is if you are engaging with people that you want to see your content, and they engage back with you, now your content will appear further over.
Well, because the algorithm favors engagement. Like tell them about the hack that you're doing with when people follow you.
Yeah. So the whole idea of Instagram and getting people to see more of your content is Instagram wants what? They want people to be on their platform for longer. This is the same idea that every other platform uses. YouTube uses it. If you can keep somebody on YouTube watching videos for longer or clicking off your video to go see another one of your videos, they are going to naturally favor your videos because they look at you as a valuable content creator that's keeping people on their platform. So one of the things we started doing, and I learned this from a Instagram hack, I think it's Modern Millie is the one I learned it from. She said to go ahead and instead of sending a DM to somebody for following you. So, if people are following you, you want to thank your followers for following you. Instead of just sending a text DM, send a voice DM. And so every time someone follows us, I try and do a voice DM back to them,
Genius.
trying to keep it around 30 seconds because that keeps them engaged with you longer because they're listening to a 30-second voicemail instead of reading a 3-word text. And it keeps them on Instagram on your profile longer. Mm-hmm. So now Instagram says like, oh, this is somebody who is active, who creates engagement, who captivates an audience. I'm now going to show their posts. If they're using the right hashtags or if they have a large following, I'm going to now show their post more organically.
And it's so
to other
unique.
People.
Nobody sends a voice message, right? So it's really
the number
unique.
of people who have been like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for taking the time
super
to send
unique.
a voice
Everybody
message.
can DM, but very few people send a voice message. A video, same for video. You could shoot a quick little video message.
Yeah, I love the video
and
too.
send it to people.
Yeah.
So
other ideas for your story feed is story takeover. So this is something we've been doing with our own company. So if you follow @ReminderMedia on Instagram, every Tuesday, we do a Takeover Tuesday where our clients will film their day, and then specifically they'll film how they use our marketing tools and what their the different kind of techniques and strategies that they're using. So it's really cool because number one, they get attention. So we always tag them and then people will go follow them. The other thing though, it's actually providing value to our clients, to our followers, because now if I can pick up one new idea from a product or service that I'm paying for, there's value in that.
Yep.
So the idea of being able to share that with other clients without you having to come up with the content and spotlight your clients at the same time.
If you have like a team, get your team. So like Steven, I was telling, hey, we want more behind the scenes. You have a decent amount of team members now. Have each Tuesday, one of the team members get their behind the scenes of their life, of what's going on in their family, what their day-to-day looks like.
Yeah.
It just pulls you in.
And then if you're looking for ideas for content, because that's always the hardest thing. It's like, all right, what can I post today that doesn't have to do about my business, right? The business stuff is easy to post about, but that's not what people are going to want to see. That's not what's going to want them or draw them into you. So this is something Russell Brunson talks about, but Jenna Kutcher, she's a famous Instagram influencer, like 1 million followers. She has this JK5 model, which is basically pick 5 things in your life, non-business related, that you feel you could post consistently about. So this could be, you mentioned them earlier, faith, family, friends, food. I don't know why they all start with F. They don't have
hobbies.
to. Finance. No, hobbies, things that you can find. And you can go and look at Russell Brunson's feed and you'll see every 5 or 6 posts, there's something about his faith because that's something that's important to him. And he's categorized now, he's systematized his Instagram content where he doesn't have to think about what to post about. He just has to think about, okay, what can I post about that's resonated with me within these 5 different categories?
I think what's interesting is super hard for people, because it's hard for me, is you don't know how real to be, right? So whether it comes to your faith, your political views, like the natural things that you talk about with your real friends, you get nervous of putting those out. But what I have found, like think about the really big influencers like Grant Cardone.
He's got an opinion.
There's no filter.
No holds barred there.
Right. I mean, you can have your different opinions on what he says, but the reality is you know what you're going to get, you appreciate it, and if it's authentic and real, you're going to connect with it.
That's why people love Ricky Carruth. Because he's got a strong opinion.
Oh,
whether or not you agree with him in terms of paid coaches versus free coaches or not, he's got a strong opinion. He's funny about it. So even if you don't agree with him, you still have to laugh and admit that it's funny. But it's a great point in terms of being authentic.
And
like
usually,
people talk about being authentic so much. That's what it means.
Usually the haters will still do business with you even on it. And the people who like you will like you even more. Like they'll become raving fans, right? Advocates of you because camaraderie.
So you've got all of your content. You know what you're going to be posting about. The next thing is, how do you actually get it seen? How do you start getting some engagement? One idea, and this is pretty economical actually, you can take your post that you're posting organically, and then you can boost that post. Now you have to have an Instagram business page, but you can boost that post to an audience, and you can control the audience. You can do a custom audience. You can pick an audience based off of interest, location, age range, or you can pick an audience based off of people and let Instagram do the work. Basically, they look at your followers and say, okay, I'm going to show this to people that are like these followers. And it's a great way to get some traction. Right? It's not going to necessarily like pull in hundreds of thousands of followers right away. Like Facebook. This is actually a tactic we used on Facebook where when we started promoting stuff from your page, and this was ads for our business, you started getting tons of followers. We don't necessarily see that same thing translate into Instagram, but what you do get is you get likes, you get reactions, you get people sharing, or you get people even saving your post, right? Bookmarking your post.
It's not as important for the I guess the local business professional. I mean, it's still important. It's basically vanity metrics.
Well, you can get your content out to your local area for pretty cheap. We're talking like $1 or a couple bucks a day.
And the reason you want to do it is the human brain, and this is what we've experienced, and this is just the raw truth of like Instagram. It's like if you only get liked by 3 people, people are less likely to engage. I think it's like the popularity feeling. It's like they don't engage because they don't see it as popular. It's the vanity. Like when you get likes.
It's like when everyone's going to a movie, the movie, no matter how
Yeah.
bad the movie is, if it's the best-selling movie in the box office,
Yep.
everyone then
This
wants to
is
see
why
it.
so many people, like, they'll pay for likes.
Doesn't
or
mean
they'll
your content's
buy
bad, by the way.
followers. Yeah, it doesn't. It truly doesn't. But it's like you have to, the best way to do it is to promote. That way you're not buying bot followers or buying bot likes, right? Because that's not going to serve you long term. But you are promoting. So in essence, you are paying for likes, but you are promoting. So you're getting your brand out there. So you have the brand effect happening in the market you want to. So like I'll promote to entrepreneurs, like interest in entrepreneurship, interest in real estate, all these different categories. And it's like you start getting traction, which causes more traction, which causes your followers to come. And then they go, wow, this is good stuff. And then they start engaging. And then it's naturally happened now to where you don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. So how to see how your posts are working. So Instagram has within the app, if you go into your profile, if you have a business, a business page, you can click on professional dashboard. That is going to open up a whole world of stats and analytics that you can dig into really to find out what of your posts are doing really well. And then from there, you can start to do more of those types of posts.
Yeah. It also shows me, like, important for me is like it will show me the time of day where most people are active, where I get most engagement. So I know, okay, if I'm going to post, I probably want to post at 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 9 p.m. So there's certain times where the most people are active. I also can see my audience. Okay, I'm more 56 or 57% women, and so it teaches me about my audience, the age range, so I can create content that's more appealing to that audience to keep them coming back and wanting them to share it with their friends and vice versa.
The other huge thing that we saw in there for your own social media was posts that are being saved by people. So that little bookmark icon on Instagram saves it to a collection. And if someone's saving your post versus liking a post, that means they're going to want to come back and look at it later.
Actually, I'm going to pull up as we're talking my Instagram because I want to, like, this will teach me, you guys won't see this on the screen, but I did a post, 305 likes, and it's just a motivational post. A bridge between failure and success is discipline. And if I view the insights, 213 people bookmarked that post, right? So I know, okay, that content at least resonated with people to where they wanted to save that quote.
Yeah, and that's where we're talking about. Then that should be something that you should be focused on. Now, that can't be your whole page. That should turn into your entire page. But that's one of those categories now, motivational quotes. That's something now that you can throw into your 5 categories that you want to post about every 4 to 5 posts. You can sort by impressions.
You can sort by reach. You can see engagement. And then in your insights, now like, it's crazy. Like, my most engagement, it used to be my wife and I. Now it's my daughter and I. So my wife's a little jealous. Sad face for Megan. No, I'm just kidding. But it now is my daughter and I posted a picture of my wife, my daughter and I, and got I think just under 700 likes, where my motivational, you just heard, got 305 likes. Yeah. So that teaches me, I'm not going to post all the time just about personal because, I want people to also know, hey, I'm in business and all this stuff. But I want to pepper that stuff in. I know, hey, I got to get personal stuff on here for people to engage, and my insights have taught me that.
Another really powerful piece within insights is you can actually see your stories, how they're performing. Because stories is a little bit tougher to figure out how it's performing because people can't like stories. Now, people can reply to stories, which can give you a little bit of insight into that. But what it'll actually show you is if people are going to next story, meaning they're skipping through it, they're not watching the entire thing, or exiting completely. So they're off your profile, they're out of stories now. So you can kind of do the inverse and you can look at, okay, how many of which type of my stories are getting the most tap throughs or exits, and do less of that.
And what a key metric I look for is the amount of backs. Yeah, how many times someone hit the back is what I look for. And I can tell by the backs that I wrote a good thing that caught someone's attention, or I took a good picture. Like it's something that draws people in.
Yeah. And then the last tip that I'll give is just making sure that whenever you are posting your captions, include a call to action. Let people know what you want them to do, whether or not that's as simple as like this post if you agree, asking questions in the post, doing something that allows people to get their own opinion out there, or sharing it or something like that. But make sure, just like all of marketing, you've got to tell people what you want them to do with your content.
Use graphics too. Like, use this stuff in Instagram to draw engagement. Use polls, use questions, use stuff like that to draw engagement in. And again, remember, if they respond to a question, then DM them, right? DM them back, get a conversation going, because the more they engage with you, the more you and your content will show up for them.
100%. So there are our tips for Instagram. Thank you so much for listening. You can head on over to staypaidpodcast.com for the video of this episode. We are also going to include a link there if you're looking for some Instagram content. Our company, ReminderMedia, we have a digital marketing platform. Within that platform, we have a branded post product. Yeah. That those branded posts are blog posts that are branded to you. They've got all of your contact information on there. We actually just added a new category for Instagram posts. We're going to have some graphics in there. We'll have some memes, some fun memes in there and stuff
memes
that you can share as well. So you can get that over at remindermedia.com/platform. We'll have that link in the show notes as well. To support the show, we'd love it if you'd subscribe on Apple Podcasts, leave a review to let us know how we're doing. Leave a comment on the YouTube video if you're watching this on YouTube on what your best Instagram tricks and ways to grow your audience are. And the best way to help out the show is to tell a friend and share on your own social media. I've got a bonus tip for Instagram posts. So if you're trying to come up with what to say in your post, because you can't be stale, right? You got to be, use like new words, new language. Use a thesaurus, right? So use a thesaurus to look up new words. Luke's already heard this joke. I actually bought a thesaurus the other day from the store. And when I got home, the pages were blank. Yeah. I have no words to describe how angry I am.
Oh my God.
It's good the second time too,
I was
right?
just going to say, it's a good dad joke
coming.
when you know what the punchline is, you still laugh.
I don't know if I call these good dad jokes, but they're dad jokes.
If you made it this far in the video as well, leave a comment on our YouTube video. And please like the video and subscribe to ReminderMedia on YouTube so that you can get every new Stay Paid podcast there as well. If you want to get a hold of me or Luke, you can email us at podcast@remindermedia.com. And of course, you can follow Stay Paid Podcast. We are at Stay Paid Podcast on Instagram. For this episode, I'm Joshua Stike.
Guys, and I'm Luke Acree. Appreciate you all listening to this. Here's your action item for this. The key to social is being social, right? Is my following didn't really start growing as much until I started engaging. So I would encourage you, because you can do this immediately. Start engaging with other people every time you're on the platform. Make a commitment to yourself. Maybe it's 3 people you're going to engage with or 5 people. Think about it this way. When you do a post, when you do a story, you want people to interact with that. You want people to like your picture, to comment on your picture. Others who are using the platform want the same thing. And the best way to really grow your following is to start engaging. So comment on other people's pictures, like their stories, start engaging with people. Remember this, the difference between a top producer and a mediocre producer is top producers take action. Take action on that today.